All right, hello to all of you that have been following my Minecraft concept art series. I actually haven't gone over this piece yet, so I wanted to put it out there to really share with you and give some in-depth explanation. I really think one of the more compelling parts of Minecraft is the actual life that you see within the game, whether it's, humanoid life forms or mobs in the form of monsters or maybe some creatures, any sort of movement that you see, and little aspects of like other life besides the player itself. I feel like really just enhances the experience that players have. So this piece is really inspired by my time that I've spent with the Stoneworks community, which is a world building community of a Minecraft server. And one of the really popular aspects was brewing. And so you could brew different sorts of, beer, different kinds of alcohols and wines. There were even fun things like hot chocolate and apple juice and a bunch of really different cool little contraptions that you could make through plugins that would then allow for you to actually have the concept of brewing. So I thought it would be really cool, since we already have the idea of like the witch in Minecraft, is if we had a villager that was able to bring brewing into the game. And so what I did was I really started off with this main functional source block right here, which was originally, sort of brewing equipment, sort of a kettle-based form that we had from the medieval era, and even later on. And so this is going to be a copper brewing kettle, and this allows us to have more functions for copper ingots. There's not too many functions specifically for copper in the game right now, and I really think this is something that could really bring like a whole new category of life to the game and functionality, while giving some, purpose to copper. So this is all in all one block, one block by one block, what we're looking at, this measurements right here. If you're thinking about, how big is this? And I was trying to make the source block, fit within that range, but I really think that because we're looking at a source block that's needs to be bigger than one block in and of itself, this one's a little bit more peculiar. And so if you're looking at it, the actual dimension that you see right here would be one block, but you're asking, okay, well, what about the top? So the top in total, this would make it about 1.5 blocks tall, that you see right here, which would allow for the top, which would go on. So it would probably be the biggest block in game. Now, whether this would be the form of two separate blocks that you would have to craft, or so two separate pieces, or whether this be just one thing that you craft and it's just 1.5, blocks high, and then you would just do the colliders for the object based off of that in the in-game coding. That would be up to, the actual development team to decide. But this is really cool. This is the villager that I've designed right here. You can see that he's got his garments on. He's got a little bit of a clock on the side, for timing, a stopwatch, and then one of these little bottles, which is within his pocket. And so one of the cool aspects of the Stoneworks Community's plugin that they use for brewing, and it's just part of the inherent plugins itself, some that you could find online. But the mods actually allow for you to keep track of time. You can't just put something in the brewer and then just leave it and then come back, days later and expect it's going to be good. They do have an expiration, and they do have certain times with which you need to pull certain things out. And so it is sort of, you have that aspect of keeping time, which makes it a little bit more realistic. So that's why he's got this stopwatch right there, and players would have to use a clock as well. And so you can see that he's reaching up right here. Assets can be placed like candles, if you think about how candles work. And one of the newer updates of the game, I believe, is 1.17. Candles can be placed in groups of 3. So if you have one candle, it has a specific orientation. When you place 2 candles, the assets then take a slanted diagonal angle from each other, and they're both placed. When you add a third candle to the group, then it shows 3 candles that are formed, and their movement, their orientation shifts in accordance with how many of those assets have been placed on that block. And so you can have different colors in correspondence with different drinks. You could just even have water bottles, and you could have some sort of wine or tea flavor or specialty drink, and then you could have an elixir, which is right here. And I think something that's really cool when we're talking about that is those are 3D assets. So you can have the 3D assets of an empty glass bottle, which you could end up placing, but you could also have ones that are filled with different kinds of drinks. And so these would be more of a decorative piece more than anything else. When you're actually drinking something, you would have the two-dimensional pixel based item, like when you're eating food in Minecraft. But these would be the actual assets that you could place on countertops or on desks or around the kitchen or whatever it is that you want to play them, or you want to use them and you want to place them. If you enjoyed this idea, go ahead and let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Maybe how it could be improved, or maybe what other different aspects you'd like to add to it to make it something that you would consider having in the game. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next explanation that we do. I will be coming out with more concept art for Minecraft at a later date.